Is, what are we looking for? Well, we know we want to hire sales. Who wants to hire salespeople? So the people that didn't raise their hand, you just want to do this all yourself? Then who wants to hire salespeople? Okay, better. Alita, you want to do this all yourself? I'm just kidding. I'm giving you a hard time. Okay, so first we need to understand what we're looking for. Okay, and I want to teach you a little bit about what is involved in a salesperson. What makes them tick? Who are they? Will you be able to get along with them? Will you be? I'm going to tell you something right now. This is an important topic because salespeople, really good ones, are head cases. I'm not kidding. They are absolute head cases, and the best salespeople on your force are the ones you want to kill every day, but you love them at the same time because they're making the money, and they know they're making the money, and so they use that over use it as leverage over you. So what you just need to understand is just go into this knowing that I'm going to go out and find the best, and I'm going to try to keep this G-rated as I possibly can because we do have a younger audience here, but I typically get very passionate on this subject, kind of like if you've ever seen, what's the movie? Wall Street, all that stuff. Like, this is real. If you want good salespeople, you want people that are used to making $100,000 a year. And if you've never made $100,000 a year personally, then it might be hard to comprehend, well, how am I going to hire someone that's used to making $100,000 a year? It's because of what we're doing. Okay, you can attract people that are used to making $100,000 a year, just using that number, because what we sell is very exciting, is very leading edge. Like when I would make this presentation and it had to do with mobile applications, like, this is a hot market. We do mobile apps for businesses. Ooh, wow. Ooh, there's a lot of sex appeal to that. It's not selling vacuum cleaners door to door anymore. It's not selling encyclopedias. Salespeople that go door to door, by the way, these are some of the best salespeople on the planet. Second to that would be car salesmen. Okay, so let me just back up a little bit. We want people that are used to making $100,000 a year. We want we want people that are the best at their trade, which is selling. You want people that you don't have to teach how to sell. That's important. You want people that have been taught to sell by the experts, taught to sell by the previous employer. Example, Mercedes-Benz. Do you think they invest in training their sales staff? Okay. Some of the best salespeople come off the car lots because the big brands, they put a lot of money into teaching them how to be really super, super powerful salespeople. Those are the people that you want. You want to teach them about your product and your service, but you don't want to teach them how to close, how to handle objections, how to isolate the objections. All this stuff, they need to come to the table with, and you will determine this in the interview process. All right. So that's who you're looking for. That person, eventually, if they're really good at what they do, they're going to want your job. You just need to understand that. The top sales rep on the floor wanted to be in the corner office. I understood that. And I had to stroke his ego a little bit to keep them pumped up and happy. You got to do that. But I always knew that, at any moment they could screw me and go to the competition or try to do this themselves. Just knowing that makes us easier to deal with. And I'm not trying to scare you, like, oh my God, I gotta work with a bunch of head cases. Yeah, well, it's the business we're in, and the better they are, the more you're gonna have to manage them, which eventually, as you scale your operation, you'll put someone right in between you and them to handle the head cases. That's how you scale your operation. You have an operations manager, sales manager, and we're gonna get into the sales manager, salesman thing in a minute. All right, how to find them. So, first of all, where are you going to look for them? Some of the really good targets right now are lots, and I'm going to tell you a way to do that. Advertising sales reps that are selling old advertising methods. Lewis and I were talking, TVO and radio reps make a lot of money. They sell $50,000 packages like clockwork, and now they're selling dinosaur marketing. Okay, those are great targets, and Lewis and I are going to kind of, talk about how we can penetrate that market a little bit and share some value with you. Ex-Yodel or Reach Local reps. These are guys that blazed a trail, man. They went out there selling SEO, which is why people hate SEOs, because of them. And those people that are ex-Yodel and Reach Local reps, they hired thousands. Those guys are great because they kind of already come to the table knowing how to do this, but they need new tools. One of the things that I found out when one of the Yodel reps, ex-Yodel reps, was working for Kevin Wilkie, and I got on the phone with him and had a little consultation with him, he was blown away by all the tools that we have. See, the Reach Local, the Yodel, whatever, it's SEO, and this is it. That's all they had to offer. And when they looked up under the hood of what we have to offer, geo-conquesting and like done for you social media marketing with Facebook and like the mobile apps, and like, wow, you have all this stuff. They didn't. They just had a cookie cutter program and they went out there selling SEO. So they really love to jump into an opportunity where now they have so many more tools to sell, because more tools to sell means what? More money. They are all money driven, period. Don't let them tell you otherwise. Oh, no, I'm doing this for my family. I'm doing this for my faith. No. It's all money, or they wouldn't go into that practice. Okay? And the better they get, it's because they want to sharpen their skills of being a better salesperson. Why? To sell more. Why? To make more money. That's the end goal. So this is the three things. Write this down. These are the three things that salespeople want to know from you. This is what you need to attract them. Number one, show me the money. Number two, show me the leads. And number three, show me the flexibility. What do I mean by that? Well, what does a typical sales rep on a car lot do? They work 7 days a week. They wear a tie no matter how hot it is out there. They work in the rain. They work on holidays, because that's when they sell cars. What a horrible job that is. What? They make good money, but they hate their job.
Yep.
Okay, so are we providing a flexibility when you could tell them that you could set your own hours and you can work out of your home and you can wear shorts, maybe not a sriracha shirt like Jody, but he gets away with that. But I mean, you don't have to dress up in a suit. In fact, we encourage you not to dress up in a suit. Right? Do you think that would be appealing to them? Set your own hours, work out of your home, being able to wear what you want to wear. These are things that are very attractive. So car lots are a great place to find them. And also advertising. Here's another way that you would advertise. In your sales ad, you can do this on Craigslist. You can do this on jobs.com, whatever the monster, whatever the latest, place to find sales staff or whatever, And when you run these ads, like for Orange County, it was the Orange County Register for me. It was the classifieds, the help wanted, the things like that. Now there's a lot of stuff online. But it's important what your ad says. And when you advertise in a newspaper, you actually pay per letter, per word, per everything, right? Even the spaces. So this is what they want to know. Show me the money, show me the leads, show me the flexibility. How do you do that in an ad? 100K, that's 100K with a plus sign, potential. That's less than a sentence. And it basically showed them the money. Anybody in here believe that that's a lie? That this is $100,000 per year potential? Anybody? Does anybody want to tell me they believe that's a lie? Okay. If we were selling $20 commissionable items, that could be a lie. That could be a lot of work to get to $100,000 a year. What we're selling is pretty substantial. It offers an opportunity for you to offer a substantial commission. What's a substantial commission? How much do you guys think when they push a brand new $100,000 Mercedes off the lot, how much do you think they're making? Anybody? Okay, I'm glad you answered that. The perception is most people think that. Anybody want to give me another answer? He said 7,000. Huh? No, how much does the sales rep make in commission for selling a $100,000 car off the lot? Okay, he says $2,500. He says $1,500. On average, they make $500 to $700 a car. The guys on the used car lots actually make more because they can get away with all kinds of funky business. Yeah, exactly. And they with new cars, it's hard to rip people off. With used cars, you can do it all day long. Okay, so if you think about that, these guys are making 6 figures a year, making $500 a car, working their asses off, right? So with this business, and I'm going to look at, and I'm going to come back to this, but I'm going to just give you a quick thing here. With the social client expert selling at $997 down and per month, you have a cost of $297, right? Once you get after 3 customers, it goes down to 247. You get over 5, it goes down to 197. So could you afford to pay a sales rep $500 for every sale he brings in? You know what I like to call $500? I call it a nickel. This is your language. This is your sales language. Talk the sales language. Hey, man, I'll pay you a nickel a deal. Nickel a deal. You show me the money. Because here's what they're going to do, right? They can sit there and say, well, if I get 2 a week, that's $1,000 a week, which is $4,000 a month. So they can sit and figure out what they're going to make. Well, I'm going to sell a lot more than 2 a week. You want them to be so confident, so arrogant, so confident that they actually believe they can sell more than you're setting the stage for. You tell them, I think easily you can sell 1 or 2 deals a week. What they're thinking in the back of their mind is, you're an idiot, man. I'm going to sell 10 of these a week. So that's fine. Let them do the math in their head that suggests that they're going to sell 10 a week, which is going to be $500. It's going to be $5,000 a week, man. They're going to make $20,000 a month, which is over $200,000 a year. That's what you want going off up here. When you're quoting your numbers and you're showing them how exciting this product and offer and technology and all this stuff is, and you're going to make $500 a pop. They know what it went into pushing that car off the lot to make the $500. They're thinking, this guy must be an idiot. I'm going to do like everyone. You're saying you might do 1 or 2 deals a week, and they're thinking double. That's what you want. You want the mentality where they're actually thinking double. They can sit there and make 6 figures a year in their mind right there. And that's how you're going to attract them. That is how they're going to want to work for you because they can see it. What was your question? I'm getting into that. This is a very structured thing. I'm just kind of bouncing around on the beginning of how you find them, how to attract them. So show me the money. In the ad, 100K plus potential, flexible hours, or set your own hours. I mean, is that telling them everything they want to hear? Work from home. Those 3 things are almost all you need. No experience necessary, meaning no experience in this particular field. Sales experience is necessary, but they should assume that. Reading a sales ad for help wanted. Training available. Now you're getting into more words than you need, but if you have an ability to do it online and it doesn't matter how big you go, you can do some things like that. But when you're held to a budget and a tight little ad, the first 3 things that I gave you is good enough. 100K plus potential, no experience necessary, set your own hours, and work from home. The 4 things, I guess. That's a great ad, and you can play with that, but that's a great ad. Now, booming industry. Booming industry. Those are the types of things you want in your ad. So the way that I used to hunt down sales reps at car lots, anybody hear this already? I know some of you guys have been in the masterminds. You've heard this piece before. You go car shopping. You go car shopping. Go pick the brands you want to go drive today. You know, Lexus, Porsche, Audi, Mercedes. Go to those nice brands and go out there and, there's an up system. When you hit the lot, the 7 reps on the lot are looking and they all have, it's an up system. It's your turn. So, Holly, when you walk on the lot, Alvin's on you. And it's like, hey, would you like to see something? What you in for? What are you looking for? Let's test drive something. Sure, let's do that, Alvin. Let's test drive this. And you get in the car and you're driving around and you're, this is pretty cool. And this is the question you'll ask them. The magical question. And I'll tell you a story about how that question got me $1 million 1-year sales rep that sold $1 million in 1 year on my floor. This question is, are you happy making the money you're making? Now, if you have the right guy in front of you or gal in front of you, they're going to say, well, I'm making good money, but what do you got in mind? Why? Because they're always looking for a better opportunity. Know that. They're not going to work for you for life. They're just waiting for the next best thing. So right now, you want to be that next best thing. So when you say, are you happy making the money you're making? And they say, well, I can always make more. What do you got in mind? There's going to be answers like that. Don't try to close them there. Just say, well, look, I respect the fact that you're on the job right now. Why don't we meet for coffee later this week? If you've got some time. I'm in a booming industry. Guys are making 6 figures a year or more. Love to talk to you about it. Thursday morning, Starbucks, let's do it. That's when you go close them. Now they're not working and you have that belly to belly time and now you can close them on working for you with some of the stuff I'm going to teach you here. So test driving cars. What are you getting? You're listening to the salesperson try to sell you the car. You're getting an audition, right? You know the good ones from the bad ones. And that allows you to sit there and go sales rep shopping, right? Some might look at that as dirty poker or dirty pool, whatever they call it. I call it very creative and very smart. Who said flipping? What?
Flipping it on them.
Flipping it on them. Okay, got it. Yeah, I was like, well, yeah, because see, keep in mind that the nicer car lots invest more in the training of the sales reps. So you're actually, these sales reps go through a $50,000 curriculum, let's just say, that they're being invested in, and you're capitalizing off that without having to invest in that. You're getting an existing solid sales rep to the table. Yes? Absolutely. Yeah, that's it. I love it. I love that approach. Huh? Okay, now this is good. So what you're doing is you're applying the same concept to different industries. Because there's people that if you believe that the people that sell windows have to be darn good and they are darn good trained, right? And it's a tough sale, then great. Now you've just identified a market that's never been on my radar. I have no freaking clue about windows or what they sell for. Right. So roof salesmen, they're selling $20, $30, $40, $50,000 roofs. They're probably a great niche to go after. It's like door to door. Yeah, that's a really good idea. Thank you for that. So absolutely. People that sell alarms, people that sell all that kind of stuff, people that go door to door. I'm going to tell you, that's how I was built, from door to door. Boy, do I got some stories about that for years of door to door. It's the best training in the world. Ask the Mormons. I mean, I'm married to an ex-Mormon. She was Mormon, and I understand about how all that works. They knock on doors, and they go out and they go on missions for a year. All right. Take your pick, right? When they're doing their dance, you can sit there and good from bad. Effective communication from bad. Who's got the more console. How about this? You're in the car with two different guys. One guy's asking you questions. The other guy's vomiting the whole time. You've been taught here exactly what to look for. Who's asking questions? That's a great, when you have them audition, are they asking questions? Are they asking the right questions? Maybe. All right, so that's just one, by the way, that's just one area. He just broke open a whole new niche of service industry reps out here in the South. I'm sure that's a great business of service industry reps that are selling $50,000 transactions. That's out in LA where he's got all these guys selling TV and radio packages, 50,000, like clockwork. These are some good markets, not just car lots. Yeah. All right.
Try that. That's a tough step. And for us to make that, we need to sell less than $5,000. When you look at it and compare it, 29,000, even in LA, there's not a lot of businesses that have $29,000, $600 So these guys.
And they're getting worn out.
Yeah,
wasted talent. They're ready for you. All right, now what to offer? So, I think the whole thing about flexible hours and work at home, and this is going to kind of cross into agreements. The type of relationship you want, check with your local, lawyers or whatever in your local areas about what your employment laws are. But there's W-2 and there's 1099. Okay, W-2, your salaried employee, your hourly employee. 1099 is the independent contractor. Ideally, you're going for the independent contractors. Those are the people that you can't give a seat and say, you got to be here 9 to 5. That's what Jody was explaining, how they get to come when they want to do their stuff. But the independent contractors are essentially running their own business, working for you. Now, the way this works, do we understand the difference between W-2 and 1099? Does anybody not understand the difference of that? So with W-2, the employer takes out the taxes, right, withholding. And with 1099, they don't. And the onus is on the employee to make sure that they keep track of their expenses, gas receipts, mileage stuff, whatever it is, and that they're writing off their taxes and that they're paying their taxes. It's not you, it's on them. So that relationship is going to cost you less. It's not as it's the best relationship for sales reps, but not necessarily your receptionist, right? The receptionist needs to be a W-2 employee. She's got to come in at a certain time. They got to clock the clock, and that's a totally different thing from independent contractor. So what you're offering is independent contractor status, set your own hours, that stuff. With this model of $997 down and $997 a month for social client expert, I like the $500 figure. They're getting 50% of the take right out the gate, although you're only making $200 in this example. But is that a good deal or a bad deal for you? Why is it a good deal? What happens next month? That's right. You're acquiring a customer, you're making $200 off the deal, you got one happy sales rep that just made a nickel, and next month you make it all. That's a good deal. Give me that times 10 every day. That's how to scale the business. So I like keeping it simple and offering five. Let's not talk about percentages. I'm offering you $500 a deal. Now, one thing that you could do, since you can obviously charge more than what we suggest you charge, is you can give them a little bit of room to charge more than that. So when they bring in a deal for $2,000, you don't necessarily have to give them $1,000. It doesn't have to translate exactly that way, but they can get maybe 25% on anything additional above. That's a good example. 25% over anything above the $1,000 that you bring in. So if they bring in $2,000, what are they going to make? $750, right? Pretty good deal. So they have this incentive to go higher. But at the minimum, they have to sell a minimum of $997, so they're going to make their $500. Now, residuals. This is getting to your answer or to your question about residuals. Residuals are, you got to be careful with residuals. They can help you and they can hurt you. You don't want to pay too much. In fact, Jody and I were talking about this, and we feel that $50 a deal per month is about good enough. As they build on 10 customers, that's $500 a month passive income coming in. That's attractive in the offer, isn't it? And that's only just a piece of what you're making, right? The reason why, even though you can afford to pay them $200 a deal per month, the reason why you don't is because that can get out of hand really quick. I had a mastermind discussion about this with some other mastermind members, and they're like, well, I think we should pay X, Y, Z. And I says, well, let's look at what that looks like. And all of a sudden, if they just do the quota of just a couple deals a week, within 6 months, they're making way too much money. What starts to happen when they're making too much passive income is they just get lazy. Yeah. So having residuals can create a future problem. But if you just keep it modest, $50 a pop, it's a great thing to add to the offer. It's a very good incentive. They're building a business. They feel like they're building a business. They're partnered with you in a sense. They're building a portfolio. They can get excited about that, and it's not getting out of hands. Now, in your agreement, write this down, and we'll underline it. Golden handcuffs. The golden handcuffs. Residual allows you to create the golden handcuffs. What does that mean? That means you're going to make this residual as long as you work for me. When you leave, it stops. As that residual grows bigger, the risk of leaving a bigger, you see what happens? Now they're making, let's say they're making $1,000 a month passive income. They got to make, that goes into their decision before the grass is greener over here, should I leave? They're walking away from 1,000 passive, 2,000 passive, 3,000 passive, wherever this gets to. So the longer and the bigger, the more the handcuffs get tighter. That make sense? I know it sounds evil, doesn't it? Yeah.
You also tie that residual to a quota? I mean,
you could.
Yeah.
You could. This is not do it exactly how I say. This is play with this stuff and try this out. But absolutely. So quota, first of all, you got to have a quota. What is a realistic quota? So Landon, is he here? What do you think, Jody? Realistic quota for these $1,000 deals on a weekly basis? Okay. So one, maybe you set the standard.
Right.
Okay. However, I've got a little bit of a twist here. It's weekly and monthly, meaning you need a short-term focus of what you're going to get that week. So you want it to be one deal a week, but when you penalize and or incentivize, it's based on the production for the month. So this way, it accounts for that bad week. But you still want their focus to be, I got to get that one deal a week. Instead of like burning 2 weeks knowing they got a whole month to get the 4 deals. It's better to get that one deal a week. You can do that too. You can say, you can figure out the math and say it's 10 appointments, you're going to get 1 deal a week. But you want a quota, and I think 1 deal a week is good. You can get to 2 deals a week, 1 or 2 deals a week. Yeah.
If they're independent, 299, they have a residual. I can't make them come to work because you're not necessarily 95 employee. We have to terminate them in order if they just stop them. That's how they don't want to do. They don't want to do 1 deal a month in order to keep that residual.
What's the question though? In other words, can you?
You're not being productive. You're just living off the residual. I don't need you anymore.
Yeah.
His question is at 1099,
Right.
I'm requiring them to do something. Can I do that with a 1099 employee? Which, yes, you can. For residuals,
For quotas,
you can.
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And that's something that individually you could check with, in your local areas, because I can tell you, California is probably the worst out of all the states. I mean,
You can't tell them, you have to do sales calls and you can't tell them that you have to meet this quota in order to get paid.
Yeah.
Yeah. They're telling them what they have to do to get paid. So you get 1099, they have to do something. Just because they're 1099 doesn't mean they get to do nothing to get paid. You have to get paid for the production of them. You're letting them know what their production department is. Production goal.
all right, I'm going to back up to the ad again. This is another tactic that I used very successfully. You're looking for sales managers. Sales manager ad. And then use those same other things that I said about 100K plus potential, make your own hours, all that stuff. And here's why you do this. Every great salesman thinks that they should be the sales manager. And that's the absolute opposite of what is true. They are the worst sales managers. If they're amazing salespeople, they will make terrible sales managers. Know that. But they don't know that. And so you work with that. So here's what you do. So I would run an ad for sales managers, and I would have 20 interviews of the people that made it through the filtering system that I had used. And then I said, I like these resumes. I have them come in, and we have our meeting. Now, if I want to work with you, and here's how I'm going to say it. I'm going to say, okay, so I see you like this opportunity. I mean, obviously, I think that you're fit for the job. I don't have a sales manager position for you right now. But if you want to come in, join the ranks, prove yourself, there'll be growth opportunities for you. But get in now, it's a booming market, leverage all that stuff and pull them in. Now, are you being dishonest? No, you are not. Do you eventually want a sales manager? Could you use a sales manager? Yes, but you're going to find someone that is qualified to be a sales manager. It just happens that everybody walking through the door is not qualified to be a sales manager, because the people that apply for sales management jobs are sitting in an office somewhere, they're number one sales rep, and they're not giving them a sales management job because the ownership knows that that's the worst thing to do. But that's why they're looking for the grass is greener. And now they're sitting with you wanting to be a sales manager, and they're interviewing while they're working for this company. So I learned that. I learned by making sales reps sales managers and realizing it was terrible. A couple things happen. When you take a salesman that's been doing really well for you and you turn him into a sales manager, here's what happens. Number one, your volume goes down. Because now they got the cushy job. They're not going to sell anymore. You're going to lose sales volume. That's the worst thing. Number two, now your whole department's just disorganized and screwed up because salespeople just aren't that organized. They're not going to be. Sales managers look at KPIs, they look at performance metrics, they look at quota systems and things like that, and those are managers. Spreadsheet guys, managers. Now they might help, the people that help teach salespeople are the salespeople themselves. So here's what you can do for growth. Remember I said there would be growth opportunities? Did I lie to you? No, because there are growth opportunities. Because, write this down, team leader. Eventually, these salespeople can become team leaders. You know why they want to be sales managers, by the way? More money. Because they feel that if they're the sales manager of 10 sales reps, they're going to make a piece of everything that salesperson does. That's why they want to be a sales manager. They want more money. So could you make, Alvin, for instance, could you be a team leader and make a little piece from everyone on this table that's your sales staff, right?
Motivation.
Now, you're not a sales manager, but you're a team leader. So what's your job?
Motivation.
Lead by example. So here's the requirement to be a team leader, Alvin. One, you got to beat everybody on this table every single month to maintain your position. You got to be, if you're not beating everybody on this table, are you a team leader? No, you're just someone else on the team. Team leader gets overrides because they lead by example, which means these guys become better salespeople watching this guy. They don't want to be this guy. And you want to make sure. So by doing it team leader versus sales manager, you don't lose your sales volume because for them to maintain the team leader position, they got to maintain sales volume. They got to beat their team out. So you don't lose sales production, and you're not giving them all the KPI spreadsheet work. You don't care about that. You do that. You guys go ahead and do that, or have somebody else do that. Let him sell, and let him motivate by example. Yes, Joe. All right, Jimmy.
Okay.
So the way I did it, it was revolving chairs. We had about, at top, we had like 60 reps on the floor at top. And so the way I did this, there was times where I was a little bit on edge. There was one room that we had that was like this one big room, right? And there were all these cubicles in the room. And the people that were on the bottom rung, I don't know if you could legally do this anymore, but I would sit the person on the bottom rung, I would move their desk right next to the door. And if you stay on the bottom, you're on your way out. And the guys that were top producers got the view at the windows. And every month we just reshuffle where people sit based on how they performed. And if you're at the door, do you want to get the hell out of there? You want to perform that month so that you can get out from, being next in line out the door. Now, I don't know if that's legal. That might be discrimination. That might be weird these days. This is how I ran my shop. And man, we clocked dollars. But I don't know. I don't know what you can do anymore on that front because I don't do that anymore. But, we were selling, internet business opportunity of making money online back in the late 90s when it was first. We were the e-commerce pioneers back then. We had a big platform to build websites and teach people how to sell product online and go get drop shippers. So if you guys remember that model, at some point in the middle of the night, there was probably my TV commercial, And so our guys would basically introduce you to the business and then talk about the upgrades and the software upgrades and have someone do it for you, the done for you services, the coaching and all that stuff. They would sell $5,000, $6,000, $10,000 packages. All by phone. Yeah. But credit card processing, on the other hand, where I've hired hundreds of reps for that, those were belly to belly. Those were getting appointments set. They were going out and sitting down with the business owner and actually closing the deal. Yeah. So let's talk about that. So if you're getting $500 a deal, what should the spiff be? What could the override be? Maybe $25. Doesn't have to be a lot. because he's got 5 guys working for him. They're out getting their quota of 2 or 1 a week, let's say. So if you've got 5 guys and you're making that, that it adds up. So, $25, $50, something like that per sale.
Deal.
Per sale. All production based. All per sale. So the be careful what not to do is don't turn your great salespeople into sales managers, but go ahead and let them earn their way into being a team leader. That's going to create more opportunity and more revenue for you and more sales volume. Spiffs. Let's talk about spiffs. This is, the type of sales floor that I ran was super motivating. High pressure. There's a pressure cooker in there. Every day you came into work, it was pretty hot. People probably have PSD from that. From working for me back then. But actually, to take a step back and tell you, people really enjoy working for us. They learn so much. Like I see them today, they're running floors now. They're running companies now. And I see them, I'd be at the mall, just walking down the mall, and someone I hadn't seen in 10 years, and now they're running, whatever that commercial was. They actually used him in the commercial, and it was a big floor. He had like 100 reps, and he says, "Thank you so much, because that was my college working for you," and I got so much. So here's the thing, when you actually get to a point where you have a few salespeople working for you, the goal that you want is you want those sales reps excelling to the point where they're buying nice cars, right? So that's one thing that was very notable in our sales, because we were at this big high-rise building in Fashion Island, and we had these parking spaces that were designated to my office suite. And they were Porsches and Mercedes, and we're talking some good metal there. And what I would do is I would take some of my great salespeople to car lots to go shopping. I wanted them to get into debt. I wanted them to buy nice watches. I wanted them to buy nice cars. One, that helps me prove to the people coming next that, look, these guys make money. But 2, it makes them work harder to pay their bills. I totally agree. I totally submit to you that you need to get your sales reps in debt as fast as you can. Because the thing is that's what they want anyway. Guys that are 21 years old, guys and gals that want to work, they want the flashy cars. You're going to get the ones that want to build for their family and they're maybe in their 40s or whatever, but you get those ones that are in their early 20s. What makes them tick? Cars, watches, girls or guys or whatever. That's what they want. So help them find it, because it'll make a more hungry sales rep for you. Okay? But the spiffs, going back to the spiffs, so Lewis, quota's 1 deal a month. One deal a week. You're going to make $500 a week. That's $2,000 a month. That's not enough. That's not what you come here for. So, maybe it's 2 deals a week is quota, or maybe that's your desires, 2 deals a week. But what I might do, because 2 deals a week is going to be $1,000 a week, which is going to be $4,000 a month. Now we're $60,000 a year. We're getting closer, right? But I want to put a carrot out there for you to get 3 in any given week. You're not going to do it every week, but those weeks that you do, because you have a killer week, I'm going to give you an extra $100 per deal retroactive. So let me explain what that means. So any week you get less than 2 deals a week, which is your quota. Any week that you get more than your quota, when you get 3 that week, I'm going to give you a $150 bonus, because you're going to get $50 a pop retro, or $100 a pop retroactive. So you're going to get $300. And so what happens is every week is a new contest with yourself. Every week you get to reset. What I found is when you make it a month, people get lost. If they're not on track, like by week 2, you lost them for the rest of the month. So by cleaning the slate clean every week, you get that head case. This is how you manage a head case. If they had a bad week, it doesn't last the whole month, because you just wipe it clean and you get into the next week. If you have it for the whole month, you can lose them all month long, and you will see this. If they have a bad week, you just got to wipe the slate clean. So you get 1 deal the first week, you get 2 deals the second week, you get 3 deals the third week. And that third week, you might get a $100 bump for all that week. You could also say a bump for the entire month. You can do this. You can say your quota is 2 deals a week, which is 2, 4, 6, 8. But if you get 10 on any given month, Then you get $100 retroactive. That's a $1,000 bonus. You watch them fight like hell to get that last deal come month close time. I mean, it's amazing what happens. You're creating some psychoticness up here, and they'll work 7 days a week. So that's what I did was I would have 6-month-long contests, I'd have 1-month-long contests, and I'd have weekly spiffs. I kept it exciting. High pressure, but exciting. The best thing that I ever did was pulled in a Harley Davidson, 100-year anniversary model, and we put it in the service elevator up. I mean, we're looking at a nice Fashion Island building with investment bankers and all that, and I had the motley crew. I had the telemarketers, right? I had the motley crew. We pulled up the Harley Davidson up to the top floor, parked it all the way down on the end, and just parked it in there for all the reps to see every single day. I had cloths made for the top 5 reps with their initials on the cloth. SR for Sebastian Rusk, AS for Alfred Serrano. They were in the running. So when I had the big meeting to let them know they were in the running, and I presented them in front of everybody with their cloths, not everybody, just those 5. What do you think they did every day? Every day they'd go over to their bike with their coffee, with their little cloth, and sit there, and basically they were owning that bike all 6 months long. And it became a fight to the finish. When you got into month 4, it was amazing what these guys were doing. They were working 7 days a week. I had to tell them, you have to go now. Because what happened after 14 days, they started experiencing burnout, like right down to the end. If you see Sebastian again, they were going crazy, fighting down to the finish. It was a close. What do you think my sales volume looked like? I mean, the sales volume was record-breaking because of what I created. I created madness, and I profited from it. And so I did it again after that 6 months, after Alfred Serrano won the bike. By the way, he got in a wreck on the bike, which totally sucks. He totaled the bike, but he's okay.
Oh.
He did this years later, I find out. But then the next 6 months, I had a vacation to whatever, all expenses paid, $5,000, whatever. And this goes back to the story of Sebastian Rusk that I had hired. He's the one that won. And here's his story really quickly. I was running this internet company, and, you know, we were all over the commercials and stuff. So he's out in Florida, and he got wind of us. He was hunting down the CEO of the company. And he was calling for 6 straight months. I had 2 assistants at the time, back when I had secretaries, assistants, and all that good stuff, right? So they would say, that guy Sebastian's on the phone again. I don't have time. Sebastian's on the phone again. What he wanted me to do is start selling domain names. We're talking about a pennies business. Like, I'm going to sell domain names to my customers for $6 and make $2, and like he makes like 50 cents. And so I asked that magical question. What was the question I asked him? What do you think he told me? Exactly what he told me. I go, all right, tell you what, I'm going to buy. I knew the guy was persistent. Chased me down for 6 months. I want this guy. I'm going to buy you a plane ticket. I want you to come out here. I'll put you up. And you remember the story, right, Ian? So I'm going to buy you out here. I'm going to put you up, and we're going to show you what we're doing, and we're going to, you know, and you're going to make 6 figures a year or more. He flew in. We had a bottle of wine that night. Took him golfing the next day. He's, man, I could get used to this. He's out there in Fashion Island, he's golfing and all this stuff. And then we went on the sales floor. The sales manager I had at the time started getting into the formalities. Okay, we're going to teach you about this. And Sebastian was a little bit rude, a little bit arrogant. And he goes, you know, with all due respect, Frank, just give me the phone. He was the top sales rep that day. That day, he beat the floor. I knew I struck gold with this one, right? So basically, he was only going to be there for 3 days. He ended up staying there for 2 weeks. He ended up being the top sales rep the entire time he was there. He flew back home, got his family, his baby, his wife at the time, got in a beat-up Chevelle, whatever it was, and drove all the way across to the United and moved to California. He worked for me for the year. He did $1 million in sales. He made $120,000 to $30,000. About 10% plus some bonuses there. He probably made about 105, and then the bonuses, God, the spiffs and all the good stuff that he earned, you know, got him to that. And he was the one that won that trip. And the way he tells this story is, he went on the trip, he came back and quit. I was okay with that. I'm his mentor today. They're not going to work for you forever. But what I always say in the parting words is, was it as good for you as it was for me? You know, I really genuinely hope that you got some great value out of working for us, because we got great value out of you working for us. And 100% of the time, you know, it was just, you know, we leave on good terms and they go and create empires, you know? But anyway, so that is that. And by the way, that guy was my top sales rep. So he was the top head case every other day in my office. He was like the exorcist. This guy's driving me crazy. And everybody in the office thought he was driving them crazy. I eventually took him out of the floor area all the way into a closet. Put him in the closet. So no kidding. You walk into this nice reception area, big, you know, big conference room, marble table, big ocean views, and this little receptionist room over here. It was actually a room with a phone in it. If you go into a lawyer's office, they got a phone for you to sit down and use. That's what we put it. So anyway, the biggest head case is going to make you the most money, but you're going to have to manage them. Are you guys liking this so far? Okay, so any questions so far? Yes. Well, that depends. If you have 7 sales reps and that guy that's doing 1 a month is really dragging down the team, then it might be canceled. Well, what I would do, you know, you're not making spiffs. You're not okay. Let's go talk about leads, because what you can do is remove incentives, and leads are an incentive. You got to earn leads, the Glengarry leads, right? Copies for closers. Anyway, so you guys seen these movies, right? By the way, you should see these movies if you haven't, because it might turn you off about the whole sales game, or it might get you excited. You got me excited. So like leads are one way. So you can keep him around because it's plus money to you, and he's not, I would say, as long as it's not bringing down the rest of the team. Hey, you're letting that guy hang around and you're giving him all the leads. That would be a problem. Yeah. But if you're not giving him any leads, then the other people are going to realize, well, I'm getting the leads, and he's, you know. Does that make sense? Yeah. It depends on the situation. If it was bringing down anybody on the team, I would.
Well, and well,
hold on. Okay, so the quota is to keep your job. Hitting over quota could be a carrot for a spiff. Maintaining residuals provided you work for me. However, you just threw in another little wrinkle there, which can be used, and that is any week you don't hit your quota, you don't get your residuals that week. You can do that. So month end, if it's by the month, you know, you only did 3 deals this month, you missed the quota, so this month you lose your residuals. That's another kind of, the golden handcuffs is more the long-term thing, but that month-to-month earning thing is cool too. So good idea. You can do that as well. Yeah.
The main thing I was thinking is my determination on that. I probably would let him go because it's not fair to him. But if he's burning through leads, or, you know, because I mean, even if he's contacting people, okay, even if he's doing that though, that's your name that's out there. And he's talking to him, and he doesn't do a good job. Obviously, he's not doing a good job because he's not closing deals. That's your name. And the next time they hear your name, oh yeah, that was that weird guy.
Well, if you get an indication that he's doing you harm, then
yeah, it's like time to go.
Every situation will be unique.
Exactly.
Right? Yeah. 2 things I want to make sure to cover. One is on leads. Okay. So show me the leads. Show me the money. We've already talked about that ad nauseum here, but show me the leads, right? So do we have leads?
Oh yeah.
How? What do we have? How do we get leads? Who is it? Okay, somebody said Go Mobile Lead Automator.
Yeah.
Things like that. Those are leads. Yeah. Specific niche market. You're going to teach them how to focus on a niche that maybe your company's profiting on, that particular niche. So this is you're going to use the Go Mobile Lead Automator. You're going to find people that are perfectly targeted, and you might, now just giving them a phone book's not leads. Okay, and I would argue that just scraping the leads to get the 200 lawyers in the area, that's not necessarily leads. It is, but what you could do to really make it leads is have someone making appointments. And that's stuff that you can kind of learn how to do. But appointment setters that can set an appointment for your rep to go out to, that's a lead. and they're going to have a better chance of closing that lead because it's a scheduled appointment. But one of the things that I always did with our sales staff is we would pay them different based on the lead. So just give you an example, not to complicate this $500 pop, because I still like this.
Yeah.
But one of the things that we used to do is you make 50% on the deals that you bring in yourself, and you make 25% when the company provides the lead. So at the end of the month, you had some deals that were at 25% and some deals that were at 50%. But you had an incentive to do your own self-generated business. So here's what I would say. So Lewis, I send you to Baldwin Park to go do a deal, and you're in a shopping center, and you come back with 2 deals. How'd that happen? And this would happen all the time in credit card processing. Not so much with this when you've got the 3-call close, but we would send them, someone filed the DBA, they got the mailer, accepting credit cards, they called in, the assistant scheduled the appointment, Lewis goes to Baldwin Park, closes the deal, writes up the paperwork, and now he's got some time. And he looks around the shopping center and goes, well, I'm just calling this guy, calling this guy, calling this guy. Hey, I just did business with Bob over here, and he liked what I had to do or whatever, and then you just, so they have an incentive to use their time wisely, come home with 2 deals. So your incentive is you're going to make 25%, you're going to make $250 on that one deal that I sent you to, but the one that you self-sourced, you're going to make the $500, as an example. So you can pay a little more when they do it themselves. So keeping it simple with this model, you're going to pay $500 a deal based on this model. What you might do is say that, you're going to pay them maybe $400 a deal on the leads that you provide. They make $500 a deal on the stuff they self-generate. Stuff like that you can do. Because you want to be able to pay for the fact that you have an appointment setter and what goes into acquiring the leads. Some of you guys might get into the business of actually acquiring leads. It costs money to acquire leads. Perfect. Like that. He wants to find access to more of these reps that are out there that could be opportunities for potentially to share with you guys all around the country. Because he's just in LA. Is anybody here from LA? See, he's got no competition in this room. He's going to help you out. Oh, you. Sorry. Okay, that actually takes me into something that I wanted to talk about. I didn't want to stop without addressing this. So base. Now, 1099, and this should be a commission-only position. However, you're looking for someone to leave a $100,000 a year job to work for you for commission only. It's going to have its set of challenges. How do you handle that? One of the things that you can do, and you can write this down, this is a very popular term, it's called draw against commission. You offer a draw against commission so that when they go home to their wife doesn't put poison in their food because they are going to leave their $120,000 cushy job or whatever to go work for this, hopefully commission-only situation. And so what you might do is you might give them a certain period of time that you're willing to give them this base as a draw against commission. What should that number be? Might be different in Tennessee than it is in LA, but if it's in LA, I might say that I'm going to give you $2,000 your first month. But if you make $4,000 in commissions, you see, it's a draw against commission. If you make $1,500 in commission, I'm going to pay the extra $500. So you will have a guarantee your first month of $2,000. Be willing to invest in that good talent, guys. For them to jump ship, you better make it comfortable for them or they just won't. It's too big of a risk. So you can remember, you're leading on the fact that this is a booming market. This is not encyclopedias. This is hot as hell. Businesses need it. There's businesses everywhere. The same stuff we tell you. These businesses are going to eat this stuff up. This is great. This is hot. This is exciting. And you should leave now because at $500 a pop, you can make $200,000 a year or whatever. But it's that bridge of getting them to jump because they're going to have training time. It might take them a week or two to really get in and train and really understand and how to do it right. And so if they make $0 for those 2 weeks, that's kind of a problem. So you can offer a draw against commission. It might be $1,200. It might be $1,400. It might be $2,000, depending on where you are, depending on cost of living where you are, right? So that would be my answer. Could you offer a base plus commission? Yeah, I would find out what the minimum wage requirement is, and then maybe start with that as your base plus commission if you had to go there. But I think this is really commission only driven. And by the way, you want people that are confident enough in themselves that they will take on a commission only job. It's going to be different per person. It's going to be different per product and market, and different depending on where they are. So that's just a totally loaded question. However, what you can do is you set yourself up with a $2,000 minimum guarantee, for instance. Using this example, it might be $1,500. Okay, guys, I'm not saying do this. But what you can do is after the first full 2 weeks, if you've got zero activity, and I don't mean a sale, like you don't even have any presentations. Like you don't know what the person is doing. Can't even demonstrate to you that he's working or she's working or whatever. You could cut bait right there. And you make sure that that's up front when you do your agreement with them. You're offering a $2,000. You're offering $1,000 every 2 weeks, draw against commission, but you have the option to cut this after 2 weeks if there's nothing going on. So 2,500 is a draw against commissions. So I'm in the ballpark. That's LA too, right? Cost of living's a little higher. So, in the deep Florida somewhere, it might be $1,200 a month. Okay.
There's a 3,000, towards the end, there's a 3,000 days, and they gave you a $10,000 limit. So if you got over $10,000, they cut you. Didn't matter what you've done in the past.
Cut you meaning you don't get the 3,000 because you got it in commission.
If you get 10,000 in the hole, they cut you.
Oh, got it.
And you owe money back to them.
All right, does that answer that question? Okay, is anybody, I want to make sure that I haven't left a hole here. Like if I didn't address that right now about the draw base against commission, all that stuff, I feel like I would have left a hole here. Is there any holes here that you guys can identify that I've missed? Great, you just found the hole. That's why I asked the question. So this is great. This is great. And it's right here. It's right here. It's how to train. And I almost missed that, right? So here's the deal, right? Jody put it perfectly, you need to be able to lead by example. So you need to be able to get comfortable in closing a deal. Because when you're sitting there at coffee time and you're telling them to do this, there's a couple things that you can do. You can say, look, don't quit your job right now. Stay working. But those extra hours that you have, let's go out together. Let me show you how hot this industry is. And then you can feel more comfortable making the jump. Are you able to do that? With this whole flexible hours situation? Yeah. If they work a certain amount of hours and they've got, going back to your number of 2 hours a day or 3 hours a day, they've got 15 hours for the week, then they can come and shadow you while you go out on appointments. So make sure during those times you schedule the appointments for your conversations to happen when they're going to be there to shadow you. And I'm going to tell you this, when you close a deal, one deal in front of someone, all that needs to happen. All the magic happens at that moment. There's stuff that's going to go on in that brain that you don't even know what's happening, but it is good stuff. Because now they go and they they think they're better than you. Remember that. They think that they're a better salesman than you, and they just saw you close a deal. And if it's that Sebastian guy I'm talking about, he goes in the corner and goes, oh, God, I could have got so much more money on that deal. And I'm going to do 3 of them tomorrow. They're so pumped up and excited. So you got to show them to close that one deal. Like Jody says, if you can show them that you can close one deal, they will tell themselves they can close 100 more. But if you don't close at least that one deal, they're going to wonder. Okay? They're going to wonder. So you got to get to a position where you can at least get out and close a deal. So I've always said this to you guys. This is the sales business, and if you don't like selling, then be ready to hire someone that does. And if you just can't get that go out and get that one deal closed to really help a salesman roll, you're going to have to find another way to do it. And I think some of the things that you can do is share the training that we offer. You're going to have an agreement with them. They're not going to come to us directly. Don't bother your minds with that. I was telling everybody the other day that I was talking to, it's literally happened twice, and they were able to submit the proof or whatever, and it turned out that they didn't even come to us. What was it? There was 2 of them that eventually came to us, and they were just turned away. But that's the thing. You don't worry about that. You're going to have agreements. Agreements are good deterrents. Okay, I'm not supposed to do that, so it's in my agreement. Whether it's enforceable or not, it's there, so it's going to be a good deterrent. But share the training with them. Let them see the training. Let them hear Jody. Let them watch the presentations. Let them see some of the videos. Teach them, train them like we teach and train you. And then the best is going out and doing it and letting them shadow you. There's nothing that can replace that.
biggest fear I see about sharing and trading is I don't want them to know how much money I'm making.
Tell
I'm
them.
not making it through business to make money. The thing is that they can't come around you anyway if you have no circumstance. The other thing is, have they invested in all the things that you've invested in? Have they bought the products? Have they took the time to come here and spend 2 days at boot camp? Those are the reasons that you make more money. Then the thing is, most salespeople cannot be business owners. They just don't have these things.
Just like they're not
If
managers.
they did try, they're going to basically within a month or so, they're going to come back anyway. So I had a videographer. Whenever I had my agency here in Florida, she's like, why do these people pay you so much money? I don't even get it. I'm like, she goes, I mean, why don't you get so much money? You're only paying me so much now. I'm like, because I'm in the business and I'm the one closing the deals. You're the one that's editing videos. She's like, well, this seems like really easy to sell. I'm like, so do you think you had anybody that you could go sell this to? She's like, of course I do. I know a couple people. I'm like, your name was Michelle. Here's the thing, Michelle. I'll pay you 100% of the upfront deal when you go out and close it. I'll bring you a deal tomorrow. Next day she comes in, she goes, I don't understand why people don't understand how to This is maybe I said because you're good, you're not. The salespeople, what they're telling them is they can go out and sell it, but they don't know how to do it. They don't have what it takes to do that. They're going to make a sale, but they're going to lose their customers as fast as they get them because they're not going to do what it takes to take care of them. Because these salespeople do one thing very well, they sell. They do one thing very poorly, and that's fulfillment management. That's why we get paid more because we're in control of the fulfillment management.
Yep.
We have those teams, they don't.
And what about this? What about being very transparent and just throwing it out on the table? You make $500 a deal. This company makes the other 500. It pays the expenses, employees, and things like that, my costs and all that stuff. Be transparent. Then you don't even care if they're in the training and seeing everything about the numbers. They have nothing to hide. That's the way to go about it. Because that training in there is really good stuff. Like the stuff you've invested in is really good stuff to train your people. Yeah.
Okay, so this was my question, because you'd mentioned, okay, so they work 2 weeks and they don't get a sale, and you're going to give them $1,000 because it's a $2,000, every 2 weeks. Could you tie into that, or should you tie into that? You got to make X number of presentations, turn in the companies that you made those presentations to. I mean, I could see somebody coming in, and because they're working on their own, they didn't get any sales because they really didn't go talk to anybody,
And that's why you pull the weed in 2 weeks. And you needed to do a better job of hiring that confident person that you think. I mean, remember, this all starts at the beginning, right?
Right. But I'm just saying, would you, if they're on that draw, would you have them turn in on a daily basis? These are the companies that I presented to them today.
Okay.
Or something. I mean, would that be
Yeah.
good?
I mean, it's not. I mean, okay. Yeah.
Because I'm paying them, it's like I need to know that you're actually.
That's totally fine.
Okay.
In other words, there's no bad answer here. Like you can do it, you can not do it. The reality is, if there's no action, you're going to cut it anyway.
Absolutely.
And so you can tell them as a useful tool is like, why don't we track how many people you talk to per day? Because it's a numbers game. And if you do talk to 5 per day, you will get 2 deals per week or whatever the number is.
Yeah.
But do it more like that instead of, because you're going to cut them anyway if they're not performing. So you don't, just be good to work for, be nice to work for. Be like, and so you can say that we think that you should do this. Part of that independent contractor status is you can't tell them how many to do either.
Right.
That's another little qualifier there. But you can suggest that this is what it would take to be able to do this. Yes.
I think for a sales team, they actually had all salespeople had to put their comments or whatever tracking information into the CRM with whatever customers they talk to. That way they could also track that when I talk to them once, I need to talk to them again, I need to talk to them again. And if it was something where they had talked to them, but they weren't available, another salesperson could then come in and talk to that.
I'll be careful.
I'm going to tell you right now, your best salespeople are going to fail miserably at that. And what's going to happen, we had a database, and they were supposed to tag every time they talk and put the notes and all that stuff. Do you think they did that? No, it would be great for the company if they did that, so we'd have real data. So this way, this rep could come in and take over right where you left off. But you know what? That responsibility is great for IT sales guys, but not for real hardcore sales guys, in my opinion. I think that's a clerical thing. That's an administrative thing. It's something they're going to fail at anyway. I'm just letting you know. I mean, that's by experience, they will fail at that.
We had a sales, I'm not saying that they weren't there. But he's right. That
from their personal phone.
Because otherwise, you can't bring that part of the league because you cannot. You can do-
Unless you hire a W-2 employee.
Is it the-
Staff.
We would- You must put this in, you write in the league, now put the contract, contract, administrator. As soon as you tell them when they have to do something, they are now employed and you have code appointment, you have to start paying.
Yeah.
It's that basic.
Yeah, Joe.
So you couldn't do any tracking. You couldn't ask
You
them.
can ask them to, but you can't tell them they have to. If you can't tell them they have to, then put it on.
You present it as a tool that helps everybody out, including them.
Yeah.
Okay, go ahead, Joe.
Yeah, question, do you see any difference between hiring for outside sales versus doing telephone sales or virtual sales?
I mean, there is a difference, but in this business, you can do these remote presentations from the computer. You can do them in person. So Now, for what I did-
Outside salespeople.
okay, so this is actually one that kind of blurs the lines. You can do both. But when I had credit card processing reps, did they do it remotely or online? No, one, there wasn't online. But no, that's a belly-to-belly deal to get those contracts. You're signing literally 20 forms of paper for the lease and for the bank and for all that stuff. Okay, so that was belly-to-belly. But when I did the phone sales reps, they're not going to drive to Minnesota to go close a deal, and we were nationwide and global. So those are two very different sales positions that I was hiring for. This position, though, is both. They can do both.
Mm-hmm.
Very different now. Yes. You only get one, though. Go ahead. Hold on. Go ahead. One more time. Sorry, I was looking at the agenda here. That's a good question. So let me do one first. So I'm going to go to kind of my history of what we did. So we paid minimum wage or maybe a little higher, and they were W-2, and they made $10 an appointment and $25 a close. And the reason we did this is we wanted good quality appointments. When you pay people on the appointment basis, you can get some crap appointments. And then the sales reps, believe me, will drill it into you if they go on a bunch of crap appointments. It's going to be this fight. So you give them this incentive to create quality appointments by giving them a bump when the deal closes. So every appointment's worth $10 to you, but when they close, it's worth $15 more. Is that a good idea? Is that a good example? Second question. I was kidding. You actually get two questions. So quality assurance. So if you're doing it by phone, you can have recorded conversations, but again, you're talking W-2, you're talking about seat, you're talking about all that stuff. How can you really police what's going on out there is after the fact, you have a quality assurance rep, could be you, and you call and just say, hey, and you guys have had these calls before, we just want to make sure you had a really good experience, and can you tell me anything about it? And you have specific questions that you ask that would give you the clues whether it was done right or done wrong. That's one way to do it. Quality assurance, coming back after the sale. You want to confirm it's a good sale anyway. So that's a way that you can do that. And you just come across as a customer service, not like I think my rep was wrong. No, you're just coming in, just want to make sure that you had a good experience and want to hear a little bit about it with some feedback. That's one way. However, sales reps can choose not to say certain things, and choose not to disclose, can choose to kind of overstate, that don't happen ever, right? Okay.
Yeah, so, what if you use something like Prospect Rocket or like Alan was saying here, like Hubstaff, where the lead goes into the CRM, they access the CRM online, They can click a button and it calls online. You know, everything's done that way. That way, everything's tracked.
Yeah, you got tools.
Does that become a W-2 employee?
No. Just because you're providing tools to make them better sales reps, it's all about requiring that they use the tools at certain times in a certain seat. And that's a very different thing. Providing tools is great. Please do. Please do. Help them be more successful. The more tools you acquire from us that you let them use, the more successful they will be, right? Isn't that true that as you guys have acquired more things, you have become more successful? More tools have made it easier. Some things have automated, done for you, have made it easier. These are things that we provide to you that you should share with your reps so that they can be more successful. All right, any other holes? Yeah, go ahead, Jarvis.
Can you dive a little bit deeper into kind of like earlier leads? Like I have an equipment that basically charges but I want to make sure that, you know, if I'm going to invest in those appointments, that I can hire closers. You know what I mean? So how would you structure to earn your leads? Maybe, you know.
Okay, so you have a $100 acquisition fee per lead, and they're quality leads. You don't have any issues there. Like, you know that they're going to be quality, super quality leads. That's great in your hiring process because you remember the whole show me the leads. You could say I pay $100 per qualified lead, and if I'm coming to work for you and you've already told me I can make over $100,000 a year, and to me, I've done the math and it seems like $250,000 a year to me, but I also hear that you have these leads that you pay $100 a pop for that are qualified and set. That's real attractive. Does it sound attractive? Yeah. So yeah, that's great. Now, what you can do is you get a certain amount of leads. Like if you have 3 reps and you know it's a certain amount of leads that feed 3 reps, provided you hit your quota every week, you get leads the next week. Any week that you don't hit quota, you're out on the lead pool the next week. You got to have penalties. You got to have bumps and you got to have penalties. That's the way to do that. And the other thing is you can also say, if I give you 3 qualified leads and you don't close any, I'm going to cut you off the lead pool until you go close a self-generated. You can do things like that too. Because if you got 3 reps and you're giving them all equal amount of leads and 2 guys are closing those deals and 1 is not, you got a problem there. So you got to be able to work with that. All right, so handling objections is next. And so if you don't have any more questions on this topic, I'm going to rest my case. Any more? Last one. Jimmy. Absolutely, yes. Give him the login. Give him the login. Any reason why you wouldn't? You're thinking about something. I'm trying to get it out. What is it? Cool. So here's what I recommend you do, and you can scrub this off Jody as well. But if this is the training, but you know that this is the section they need to focus on, that is where you direct their attention to focus, because it's going to teach them how to approach, how to price, how to close, handling objections. You don't need them to understand how to process the deal into fulfillment for Landon's team to work. They don't need to look at that training. They need to look at the relevant training. That's the answer. Any other reason why you wouldn't want to give them the login? Okay. This is good. I love this. Go ahead. Keep going. But I want to address this point on. So if you're worried about that, there's ways to be unworried about that. Number one is you're going to have an agreement that has non-circumvention, non-compete clauses in it. That's a deterrent. Most people don't want to be sued. So the fact that it exists will make them play nice. Number one. Number two, you're transparent with them. You tell them how much you make, or not that you make, not what you personally take home, but what the company brings in. And you show them what they make. And it's pretty equitable, and there's a great opportunity here. You're being transparent, nothing to hide. Your trade secrets are there, but you know what? There's an agreement between you and them that they're not going to take your trade secrets. And you also have an agreement with me, Landon, Jody, the company, the team, that if anybody goes around you, we will clip their wings. Now, Can we 100% prevent that? If they went to Uncle John and had Uncle John come through somehow, find a way to get signed up, but if 6 months later I find out that that happened, we'll clip their wings then. So go with this without any, like, is there any other reason you wouldn't give them a login? That's why I'm trying to see if I can completely dispel it all. There you go. Did I handle that? Hold on. Are you comfortable that I've handled that? Would you feel comfortable being transparent, giving them a login, directing them where to focus for their training? Are you comfortable yet on that? I'd submit to you that you should be. And you know what? If they screw you, so what? Once you get your mind wrapped around that, guess what? One of those employees is going to screw you one day. So what?
Yeah.
That's a guarantee. I can guarantee, like, death and taxes and sales reps will screw you. And once you're just okay with that, then just, you put up these little things that help prevent it, and okay? You guys okay with that?
Yeah.
Is there any reason you wouldn't share this awesome training with everybody?
So much time wrapped around the axle and boreas and cookies that you don't get anything done. I am a reverse pessimist. I feel everyone is out to help me. When I set that expectation, you know what? I get screwed a whole lot less than I think everyone's out to screw me.
Mm-hmm.
That is correct. That is 100% correct.
Plus, all I have to do is mention all y'all's names, these are my friends, these are my buddies.
Mm-hmm.
Then they're going to be scared to do it. They're
And Guido.
buddies.
Okay, so that was a great one to end on, I think, because I want everyone to feel comfortable in sharing this valuable training that you've invested in, so that you don't have to go recreate all that and try to train with that. It's there for you. And if there's anything holding you back, hit me with it and we'll dispel that too.
If you're completely paranoid, there's no way you're going to give it to them. Number one, because it's not going to be successful. But number two, do the screen grab of the videos and put them on a YouTube channel somewhere so that they don't have to.
Privately, yeah.
Yeah, there's other things you can do.
Why don't you make the download? Yeah, right. You want everybody to take everything we have and put it on.
Yeah.
I'm telling you that you should. We made everything download on those other people that take everything we have and install the content.
Yeah.
We don't need to enable them. What we're gonna do now is we're gonna take a 15-minute break.
I was just gonna say real quick, I use LastPass.com. They hit LastPass, I can assign which logins they get. They don't actually see the logins. When they go to the page, it puts a login for them. So that way, when they're no longer my employee, I just take away their login ability.
All right, guys, have a break, 15 minutes. And then please get right back in your seat at 12 on the button so that